not only here in Virginia, but across the country. We're headquartered in Virginia, and it is our distinct privilege to be here and to represent so many great Virginia employers, particularly at this conference. The other role I play is I'm fortunate and privileged to serve as chair of the Virginia Chamber of Commerce. And on behalf of our executive director, Barry Duvall, who unfortunately cannot be here today because he has a commitment out of state, he asked me to extend a very warm welcome on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce to everyone here present. And as all of you know, you could not have a better champion of our military families, veterans, and active duty military than Barry and the Chamber of Commerce, with our commitment to Hire Vets Now and to a number of initiatives designed to make sure that Virginia is the #1 state in the country for our military and military families. We have so many military right here in Virginia who we hope, when they finish their active duty, will continue to remain here in the Commonwealth to make it the best state in the country. Virginia is committed to making sure that Virginia is #1 in supporting our military families and veterans. And we've done so by forming the Military and Veterans Affairs Council, which is our first of our 9 industry councils as part of Blueprint Virginia 2025. That was the first council we formed, and it's chaired up by our very own Mike Mello, of whom we're very proud. We've also launched, of course, this first annual conference. You know, last year, this group was part of the overall Workforce and Education Conference. Well, guess what? We've blown the doors off of that conference to set up a standalone conference. Last year, there were about 600 people combined in the Workforce and Education program. There's 620 people here today signed up, registered for this conference as a standalone. Workforce and Education is 2 weeks away, and it'll be separate. And so that is a true privilege and honor. And we also, as part of the Chamber of Commerce, are committed to stepping up our efforts to increase our employment and support, in particular for our military spouses. While our unemployment rate for veterans is at a historically low and excellent rate of about 2.9%, is what I'm told, the unemployment rate for military spouses is a lot higher, somewhere between 16 and 20% unemployment for our military spouses, depending on what stat you're looking at. We want to drive that down to 0. We want our military spouses here in Virginia to be employed because the businesses that are part of the Chamber of Commerce need our military spouses. In General Stanley McChrystal's book, which I've just started, Team of Teams, it's excellent, he shares his assessment of what it took to be successful in the campaign against al-Qaeda in Iraq. And he really attributes it to 2 factors: the ability to listen and the ability to adapt or change. And he says this about how they adopted those tactics to ultimately achieve victory. He said, "There's likely a place in paradise for people who tried hard. But what really matters is succeeding. If that requires you to change, then that's your mission." And honestly, that's the mission of the Chamber of Commerce. There's been a lot of listening, but also adapting and changing and collaborating with our public and private partners to make sure that we're achieving the mission of making Virginia the best state for our military and military families. And honestly, to do so, I believe, requires servant leadership and a healthy dose of humility and perseverance. President Truman famously quipped, "It's amazing what you can accomplish if you don't care who gets the credit." And Senator Reeves spoke a little bit earlier, and he hit on the same tone. This is not about politics. This is about results and success for all Virginians. And as long as you don't care who gets the credit, and I think everyone here in this room is locked in arms for that same mission. The Chamber doesn't want the credit. It is a privilege for the Chamber to serve and to help those who have served and given so much to our Commonwealth. Now, to begin our program, I'd like everyone to stand for the presentation of the colors by the Franklin Military Institute Color Guard.
Close the votes. Mark. Close out. Hold. Freeze in. Hold. Please join me in the sound of the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me in giving thanks for Sergeant Gary McCrae and the Franklin Military Academy Color Guard. Thank you all. And we talk about, please be seated. We talk about Virginia being the #1 state for our military families and veterans. I also would be remiss if we didn't celebrate a little bit about being recognized by MSNBC in the recent polls earlier this summer as the #1 state in which to do business in the country. And that in large measure was a result of a number of driving forces, but perhaps the biggest single factor was our workforce development. And the workforce development is locked arm in arm with our Blueprint Virginia initiatives with our Military and Veterans Affairs Council. And that's because the greatest single contributors we believe for our workforce are right here in this room. It's the military and our military families. Virginia is blessed to be home to 30 military installations and one of the largest veteran populations in the country. And what better way to thank our military and their families for their service to our nation, to our Commonwealth, for the many sacrifices that they've made, than to ensure economic opportunity after their service ends. And unless we think this is some kind of a handout, it's not. Virginia business needs our military spouses and our military veterans. And so not only do we believe that our military can be invaluable members of our communities generally, but in particular in driving the economic train of Virginia in the 21st century as part of Virginia's future workforce needs. We look forward today to hearing from a number of different presenters, both public and private partners with the Chamber, who have been focused on empowering our military community and strengthening pathways into civilian careers. We're pleased to feature keynote remarks by Glenn Nunziata, Executive Vice President and CFO of Smithfield Foods, and Kathy Roth-Duquet, CEO and Board President of Blue Star Families, who will be speaking with us this morning. And thank you again for being part of more than 600 members, attendees who've joined us today. We also look forward to the lunchtime presentation hosted by the Virginia Department of Veterans Services for the presentation of its 7th annual Virginia Values Veterans, which I can only refer to as V3. That's the way it's referred to. It's otherwise a stump. And interestingly, Senator Reeves said this earlier, more than 60,000 military veterans have been hired into Virginia's civilian workforce through this V3 program since its inception in 2012. That is an amazing achievement to see that many veterans come on into our workforce here in Virginia just since 2012 through that V3 program alone. We want to congratulate our V3 companies, as well as Deputy Secretary Kathleen Jabbs, Acting Commissioner Steve Combs, Deputy Commissioner Walker, and the entire team at DVS on this outstanding achievement, and who also, of course, are our co-hosts today. If your company is not currently enrolled in V3, I would encourage you to visit the table out in the foyer during our break or later before lunch or after lunch to figure out and get a little bit of information about how you can be part of the V3 program. It's a very simple process, and they'd love to talk to you if you have a moment during the break. DVS is also our partner with the Chamber on Hire Vets Now, one of Virginia's newest initiatives to provide professional development and career networking for our military community. And this year, through tremendous support through the transition assistance offices on our military installations, the Chamber's Military and Veterans Executive Committee, the V3 companies, and all of our regional partners, Hire Vets Now will connect 1,500 transitioning service members, veterans, and spouses to career opportunities in the Commonwealth. 1 in 10 Virginians is a vet. 21,000 plus active military will be transitioning out this year alone. It's a huge opportunity for our Commonwealth to make sure that we have jobs for those 21,000 transitioning military and their spouses right here in the Commonwealth, and that they'll stay and make Virginia home. I'd also like to thank and recognize our installation partners, without whom the Hire Vets Now program would not work. Those include Soldiers for Life and all of the staff with Soldiers for Life and all of our installation. Nestel Graves, Soldier for Life Transition Assistance Program at Fort Lee. Stephanie Hetchkoff, Marine Corps Henderson Hall. Marine and Family Programs Branch. Fleet and Family Support Program, Navy Region Mid-Atlantic, and Soldier for Life staff on Joint Base Meyer Henderson Hall and Fort Belvoir. Thank you all for being our partners in this initiative. I would also like to give a special thanks to Cindy Miracle, who is our Senior Vice President of Programs at the Chamber of Commerce, for all of her hard work, her leadership on the Hire Vets Now program, and without her dedication, this program really would not be where it is today. So thank you, Cindy. And now I'd like to recognize and thank our conference sponsors who are noted in your programs. Platinum sponsor LMI, Dave Zillette, Mike Flanagan, Rick Ferry. Signature sponsor Dominion Energy, Catherine Bond and Darius Johnson. Gold sponsors Anthem, Jeff Ricketts. Amazon, Brian Moore and John Quintus. Capital One, Chris Doss. Smithfield Foods, Glenn Nunziata and Cara Lombardo. JP Morgan Chase, Nick Klein. ITA International, Mike Mello. Please refer to your program for all of our sponsors whose support made today and our programming possible. We couldn't have done it without all of these wonderful business partners with the Chamber and for what they're doing with Hire Vets Now and our other programs. And let's just join in a round of applause for all of our sponsors at this time. Thank you. As one of the focuses, and I mentioned it earlier, of Blueprint Virginia 2025, which is our roadmap for the success of our Commonwealth for the next several years, because of the importance of the military to Virginia's economy, our first industry council was our Military and Veterans Affairs Industry Council, which is led by an executive committee chaired by Mike Mello, CEO of ITA International and Newport News, and also a member of the Virginia Chamber Board. I'd like to ask Mike to stand and thank him for his passion and leadership for the committee, and ask all the executive committee to stand and be recognized if you're here today. Thank you. I'd like to now welcome to the stage our keynote speaker, Glenn Nunziata, with Smithfield Foods as our first keynote speaker. As you make your way, let me embarrass you a little bit. Glenn serves as Executive Vice President, Chief Financial Officer for Smithfield Foods, a $15 billion global food company founded and headquartered here in Virginia. And Smithfield has been a major support of the Hire Vets Now initiative, which Glenn will share a little bit more with you in a moment. Glenn leads all finance, accounting, treasury, tax, risk management, human resources, and IT functions for Smithfield Foods. He's responsible for identifying key opportunities to improve growth, earnings, and opportunities and operating efficiencies. Last year, Glenn was honored with Virginia Business Magazine's annual CFO Award, which recognizes financial executives across a variety of business sectors. He serves on the board of the Smithfield Foundation, the company's philanthropic arm. He's a member of the Virginia Society of Certified Public Accountants. He's a former director of the National Multiple Sclerosis Society's Virginia chapter. He earned his bachelor's and master's degrees right here in Virginia at JMU. He serves on the James Madison University College of Business Board Advisors. We are grateful for Smithfield Foods' support of Hire Vets Now and our programs, and especially grateful for Glenn. Please join me in welcoming Glenn this morning.
Well, thank you, Charlie, and you did embarrass me, so thank you. It is truly an honor and a humbling experience to be here today. Before moving down towards Smithfield 5 years ago, I actually lived right here in Richmond and spent 11 years with a public accounting firm, and it's just great to come back here and see some old friends and colleagues. Along with the Virginia Chamber of Commerce, the Virginia Department of Veteran Services, Smithfield is truly passionate about our veteran communities. It's events like this that allows us to highlight ideas, but most importantly, to share ideas, to share best practices that everyone in this room ought to be listening to, because at the end of the day, this is about taking care of those individuals who have served on our behalf and to help them transition, not only transition into civilian life, but to stay there comfortably. So we thank you. As Charlie mentioned, I'm the Executive Vice President and CFO for Smithfield Foods. We are a $15 billion global food company. We have operations in many countries. We send our product to over 45 different countries around the world. And we're headquartered in a tiny, sleepy little town called Smithfield, Virginia, and we love it. We love it there. And we're happy and proud to employ thousands of Virginians amongst our family of more than 40,000 in the U.S. And right now, we're just about to hit 55,000 employees worldwide. So we're honored to be here today. Sometimes we lose sight of the impact we can have on segments of our population, employment base, et cetera. And like I said, and as Charlie highlighted earlier, it's good to be recognized, but more importantly, it's good to remember that we have an obligation to take care of this military base and to help them transition into civilian life. More than 1,700 of our U.S. Smithfield employees have served our country. We believe veterans bring incredible value to our company, and most importantly, we believe they deserve our support. That is why Smithfield has been committed to honoring the service and sacrifice of our veterans. We not only focus on these veterans, but we focus on their families, their spouses. And we're happy to collaborate with the Virginia Chamber, the Virginia Department of Veteran Services, and the other veteran-focused organizations that are present. We're honored to support the Virginia Veteran Services Foundation's Homeless Veteran Fund. It provides one-time gap assistance to homeless veterans in the process of being housed and those, unfortunately, that are in danger of becoming homeless. Just last month, we announced an additional $150,000 contribution to this program at a ceremony right here in Richmond with Governor Northam. The fund has assisted over 700 homeless vets since its inception by providing funding for housing deposit, rent, and utilities. We also partner with the Virginia Peninsula Food Bank. We obviously provide protein. We also provide produce to veterans and their families in need through the VA Medical Center in Hampton. Any veteran who's seeking food assistance can attend and receive these nutritious meal components, protein, and we believe that contributes to a healthier lifestyle. In 2018, the program distributed meals to more than 2,500 veteran families in need. It's a great, great initiative. Thank you. And there's a lot of data talking about veterans transitioning out and staying in Virginia, but sometimes they leave Virginia against our will, but they leave Virginia. And so Smithfield believes in extending our support outside of Virginia as well. We are proud to support a number of military initiatives and veteran-focused initiatives in the 32 states we call home. Around the country, our employees participate, they volunteer, they even sponsor military-related events. Military appreciation days, wounded warrior fundraisers, 5K runs. We even did a neat little Ride for the Warriors, which is a modified bike ride to aid veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder. We have also partnered with retailers and customers, including Safeway, Shop and Save, Albertsons, to donate thousands of pounds of groceries to veteran families and communities across the country. This is my favorite. Earlier this week, Smithfield had the privilege to participate in a really cool and unique experience called the Honor Flight Network. And for those of you who don't know what this is, Honor Flight's mission is to transport American veterans to Washington, D.C. to visit the memorials dedicated to honor their service, that honor their sacrifices. We were honored to make a $125,000 donation in July. That donation fully funded a flight that occurred this past Tuesday. It transported 83 World War II, Korean War, and Vietnam War veterans to visit those very same memorials. Thank you. To be a part of it truly was a humbling experience, and for me, the first time I had been associated with something like that, and it literally brought me to tears. To be able to fly these individuals who may otherwise not have been able to afford to get there was really a humbling experience. In addition to focusing on hiring folks for Smithfield, we also look to support the military in general as they transition into civilian life. We work with the Global Good Fund. Global Good Fund is a leadership development enterprise. It focuses on social entrepreneurship. It provides custom leadership development programs for veteran business owners. It offers an 8-month training program to help the fellows grow and scale their businesses. As they do so, they're able to create stable and long-lasting career opportunities for other veterans, and they refer to this as the ripple effect. Last fall, I had the pleasure of hosting many of these business owners down in Smithfield, Virginia. It was an incredible experience to listen to their stories of sacrifice. One thing that stood out to me was we think about their honor and service to our country, but they have an incredible impact on their local communities. One of the program participants was Dan Caparel. He's a Marine Corps veteran and a founder of Hire Our Heroes. This nonprofit, Hire Our Heroes, is focused on empowering veterans and employers with the skills and tools necessary to optimize their workforce. The organization's mission is also to lower veteran unemployment and underemployment at the national level, and it's been really quite successful. In 2018, Hire Our Heroes helped more than 90 veterans and their military spouses get hired in full-time positions. Dan is an incredible and remarkable advocate for America's servicemen and servicewomen. His experience as a satellite communications specialist in the Marine Corps led him into a 20-plus year career in business management, technology, and telecommunications. And it's those skills acquired over that 20-year career that helped fuel the success of Hire Our Heroes. It's people like Dan who inspire all of us to continue to focus on hiring veterans. His success, his story really is why we're all here. And that was a great, great experience. I mentioned this morning to Charlie, at a venue very similar to this, my boss, our CEO, walked on a stage and threw a goal out and said, Smithfield will employ 4,000 veterans in the U.S. To put that into scale, that's 10% of our workforce. My HR team is sitting over here, and I can tell you the first time we heard that statement, none of us were prepped. But the proud moment I had was when nobody ran from it. We embraced it. I definitely got a request for hiring a few more recruiters. But we embraced it, and we're well on our way to accomplishing this goal. It's a lofty goal, but quite honestly, I'm very proud to be behind it. And I want to thank this team here for devoting many, many hours a day to achieving this goal. So thank you. Smithfield is also a proud contributor to the Chamber's Hire Vets Now initiative, which, as you know, brings together transitioning service members and offers professional development. Through this program, we've had incredible opportunities to network with transitioning service members. And the component of this that I enjoy the most, and I think my team does too, is the one-on-one interactions we have with these veterans. It really allows us to share our story, to tell these folks who Smithfield is and what we're about. It's incredible, even in my own family, at the Thanksgiving table. You guys just sell hams, right? No? We sell a little bit more than hams. You're probably eating our bacon-wrapped scallops now. But yes, we sell a little bit more than hams. And so these programs allow us really to get in, on an individual basis, face-to-face with these folks. And that adds an element of personalization and allows us to try to find the right role. Hiring vets is challenging. Hiring in general is challenging. Keeping them on board is harder. And so the effort that we put into engaging with our Virginia veterans extends beyond the hiring process. We're really focused on retention. And programs like this that allow us to find the right role, to skirt the resume submission issue through an internet site, really helps improve our success rate with respect to retention. And the work that the Chamber is doing to advance and strengthen the business climate here in Virginia through programs like this is incredible, and Smithfield's proud to be a sponsor. Another avenue we've used to actively seek out veterans is through the Department of Vet Services V3 program. And Charlie, I agree with you, that's a mouthful. Virginia Values Veterans Program, V3 program. It's an incredible resource, actually, to our military talent acquisition team. We've had first-hand experience with the program. We are V3 certified, and I agree with Charlie. Anybody who's in this room that's not part of that program ought to walk right outside during the break and sign up. It's an incredible program. It's yet another tool that's available to every single company in this room to engage with an incredible workforce with skills that the common civilian does not have, and skills that I can guarantee will improve productivity. So it's something you ought to engage with right away. The incredible part of the V3 program, as I mentioned earlier, is this one-on-one interaction. I can walk into a room, meet these individuals. We're not just selling a plant position, a manufacturing position, but I can look and say, a lot of these vets have incredible supply chain skills, incredible management skills around accounting and finance. We can look at marketing. There's so many departments within a company like Smithfield, like all of you in here, that we ought to be engaged in and focused on, and this V3 program allows us to do that. On a national scale, we've also joined a Veteran Jobs Mission, which is a very similar program, which is a collaboration with, amongst 200 different companies across America with the mission to hire 1 million vets. So again, these programs are an incredible tool for companies to really engage with an incredible workforce population. And as I mentioned, as important or more important than engaging and hiring veterans is supporting them once they join our team. At Smithfield, we have a few different ways to do this. I wanted to highlight two. First is our military fellowship program. This is an 18-month leadership development program for high-caliber, recently transitioned leaders from the military. We also have a year-long supervisor and training program. It trains veterans to become production supervisors in our facilities. Again, these programs are designed to transition the skills, to help transition those skills that were obtained and learned throughout their military experience into